Today we're going to talk about the bossa nova. The bossa nova is kind of a South American rhythm. You can a little bit put it in the same family as the samba or the rumba. It's all very interesting rhythm that are not used often in rock music, but in pop music though it came in on the scene maybe 20-25 years ago, even in the mid 80s when more Latinos artists came on the scene and brought that kind of rhythm into their music that was pop music but with a little bit of that rhythm, the South American rhythm, So it's very, like I said, it's very interesting rhythm. And we're going to start with the basic of it, the ride cymbal. So the ride cymbal is a 16 notes pattern. In a previous video, I posted a video maybe a week and a half ago about the 16 note drum beats. And in that video, I was describing it playing with two hands, 1 E and 2 E and 3 E and 4 E and So 1 E and 2 E and 3 E and 4 E and I also in that video did show that you can play that rhythm with one hand. So 1 E and 2 E and So same rhythm, same amount of note played with the right hand instead of the two hands. This time we're going to play it with one hand. So it's still going to be our 16 notes. So 1 E and 2 E and 3 E and 4 E and played on the ride cymbal. So 1 E and 2 E and 3 E and 4 E and 1 E and 2 E and 3 E and 4 E and So I'm counting it in 4 now. 1 E and 2 E and 3 E and 4 E and Although in some books I saw it in 2/4. So instead of having 4 beats, they were having 2 times 2 beats. So 1 E and 2 E and 1 E and 2 E and 2 times 2, 4. To make it a little bit easier, what I'm going to do is that I'm going to count it in 4. So 1 E and 2 E and 3 E and 4 E and So it's going to be a little bit easier to understand it, to explain to. So we started with the 16 notes on the ride cymbal. So now, as you've seen, you got bass drum, hi-hat going, and the snare. So we're going to start with the bass drum. So we got our 16 notes on the ride. The bass drum is playing on the ride. So all that drum beat is based on the 16 notes. So you won't have note played in between the 16 notes. It's all going to be on the note. All on the note. So for the bass drum is on the first and fourth note of each beat. So on the 1, 2, 3, 4, So bass drum on the first and fourth notes of each group. That's going to give you this. 1 E and 2 E and 3 I'm going fairly slow now because those rhythms usually are played much faster. But I'm gonna go slow. It's gonna be easier to get it, you know. So again, with the bass drum, 1 E and so E and E and E and 4 E and 1. The hi-hat this time. The hi-hat will be played with the foot on it. Hopefully you hear my hi-hat properly there. I can maybe increase the volume a little bit here. Okay, so the hi-hat will be played with the foot, not with the stick. With the foot on the ends, so on the third note of each beat. So and up, and 3, and 4, and up. So right, 1 E and up, 2 E and up, 3 E and up, 4 E and up, 1. So increase that volume just a little bit. Better now. So 1 E and up, 2 E and up, 3 E and up, 4 E and 1. So on the end, bass drum on the first and fourth note, hi-hat on the third note. So with my feet, it's going to be like this. 1 E and a, 2 E and a, 3 E and a, 4 E and a, 1 E and a, 2 E and a, 3 E and a, 4 E and a, E and a, 3 E and a, E and a, 1. So again. That gives you a pretty cool and fun pattern. It's swing, it's really cool. So now with the ride cymbal, remember, the ride cymbal plays all the 16 notes, and the bass drum and hi-hat are placed on different notes, but it's always on the note, never in between the notes. So I can play it on the hi-hat here, so you can hear a little bit better that bass drum and the hi-hat. Yeah. So 1, 2, 3. So what I suggest is to practice that basic. Practice that basic, the ride with the bass drum, with the hi-hat. This is not the only pattern that you can play on the hi-hat. You can play different pattern on the hi-hat, like 8 notes. So I played the hi-hat on the 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. You can play the hi-hat on the E's and the A's. I'm going to go a little bit slower for that one. So 1 E 2 E and A, 3 E and A, 4 E and A. You can play 1 E, 2 E. So again, I played 8 notes, but with a splash. 1. So basically, the splash is when you hit your heel down, and you got a kind of a splash with the cymbal there. So just to tell you that there's many different patterns that you can play with the hi-hat. The 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. It's not the only one. But for the basic of it, we're going to focus on that one. This video, for a couple of reasons, I'm going to do a 2-parts video for that one. First reason, I don't want to do videos that are too long. I like to keep it short, about 12-13 minute video max. So I want to keep it fairly short. Second reason for doing a 2-part is I feel that the snare pattern or snare patterns, because there's more than one pattern that you can do on the snare for those rhythm, these drum beats, I feel that it needs to be explained a little bit more, go a little bit deeper in it, and be a little bit more, get the details a little bit more on that one. Because again, the snare pattern is on the 16 notes, but it's never the same from one beat to another. It's always changing. The hit on the snare are a little bit more than 1, 2, and 4. So the rhythm is not a steady rhythm. So I feel that it needs to be explained a little bit more. So I'm going to take the second part of the video to actually explain that and teach you that. What I'm going to do too, I'm going to try to find a program where I can get the stuff, the notes, at the bottom of the video. If I cannot find a program to add that to my video program that I use, well, I'm going to do it the old-fashioned way. I'm going to take a whiteboard and some marker. I'm going to write it down and show it to you. So anyway, part 2 will be about the bossa nova, but we're going to look a little bit more on the snare part this time, or parts, because there's more than one. So I'll see you next time. Well, I'll see you in part 2 of this video. Bye-bye.